Taking snapshots.
All right, what I'd like to do is first off point out where we're located at. This is called Spring Bayou, and one of your associates are asking is this actually a spring. It actually is, and it's unique to Tarpon Springs in a couple ways. During the winter months, be it November up till about March or so, we have manatees in here. And the reason they come in here is that it being spring fed, meeting with Gulf of Mexico water, the spring keeps the water temperature a consistent temperature. That's why the manatees come in here and stay during the colder months, especially when you get a cold snap.
Don't fall in.
No, I won't. When I have. But the other unique thing, and you're going to see this in the movie that we're going to see at the Heritage Center, this is where the induction ceremony goes on. On January 6th is where they throw the cross into the water, and the boys dive into the water right here. You'll see the movie where they run down the steps, dive in the water, and the entire process. So it really is a unique area. This is Spring Bayou. Another point of Tarpon Springs is, and we put our handle on it, is why we're relatively relaxed over here rather than on the other coast and wherever it may be, is that we have water everywhere. You are no more than 5 minutes to the water by bicycle from anywhere in the city. From anywhere in the city, get on your bike, you want to walk, it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes by bicycle from anywhere in the city, you're on the water. Challenges we have with that is flooding, but we really don't have much flooding problem. Tarpon Springs is a unique city in that we are Greek culture. We have a Greek church right up the road here. Some of y'all passed it on the way trying to get where we're located. The patron saint of the Greek church is Saint Nicholas. To us, Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of mariners, people that work on the water. We put our faith in, we've never been hit with a hurricane in all of the years here in Tarpon Springs on Saint Nicholas. I even have it on my brochure. If it's a hurricane, don't worry about it. But another thing about Tarpon Springs, I'm going to brief you a little more once we get into the Heritage Center, is that we're still 70% of our population is of Greek descent. When I was growing up, our population was around 12,000. Now we're at 25,000. But again, the unique thing is that we're still 70% of Greek descent. Milao Linikat, Traguzao Linikat, Korevo Linikat. That means I talk Greek, I walk Greek, I dance Greek, and I eat Greek. So I am Greek, but I'm the first generation here. My mother is actually from the old country, 86 years old, and speaks a lick of English other than Michael go to wet. But she's still on me every morning. She raised us. My father died early, so put 3 of us in college and didn't speak in English. Really proud of her. So we're going to walk over to the Heritage Center. If you notice the obelisk that we have over here, the dedication to the military and our fallen soldiers that are from Tarpon Springs here. And in addition to this water area, the park that we have over here in April, we have one of the top 20 fine arts festivals in the country is held here in Tarpon Springs in April, usually the second week. So as we walk over to take a look at the beauty that we have over here, we're going to be going to that building that's on the other side of the street. So if you'll follow me over, we're almost there.
You can't walk on water?
You got it.
Oh, Charlie's Day.
We consider Tarpon Springs a village, not a city. As I pointed out to some of you, when I was growing up, went to high school in 1970 something, we had a population of around 12,000. Now in 2011, we have a population of around 25,000. Most of it was done by annexing areas. Just outside of the Highway 19 area, if you go on the other side, we annexed that population on Lake Tarpon over there, so that gets rolled into our population. Tarpon Springs was founded in the late 1800s, early 1900s by Greek settlers and business merchants that were not Greek. They came here and found that Tarpon Springs is very similar to the Greek islands. At that time, the use for natural sponges was very, very big. They used it for everything, especially in Europe. Anyone know the reason why they use so many sponges in Europe? The reason for that is most of the older homes in Europe don't have showers, so the most effective way to get water to the top of your head is with a natural sponge. Absorption factor, dexterity factor, natural sponges also have an antibacterial factor. So the sponges that you wash your dishes with, you know what ends up happening with them? A lot of people use natural sponges for that very reason. All you got to do with a sponge is keep the soap out of it so it doesn't denigrate the fibers that hold the sponge together. You're going to get a lot deeper into sponges as the day goes on and in the movie here. Tarpon Springs, population 25,000. The uniquenesses of the village, pretty well everyone knows them. I guess some of y'all, I'm sure some of y'all are from small towns. You know, and people have seen us grow up from here, up here. I actually grew up 3.5 blocks from here. This was the library. This was a tennis court that we ran out. This was a park. There was a table out there that I got my first kiss at. So it has a lot of significance to us here. But this was developed into the Heritage Center about, what, Holly, 5 years ago, 7 years ago? About that, and they use it as a museum for groups like yourself, as well as individuals that want to kind of see really who we are and what we do here in Tarpon Springs by the photos of what was there and where we are now. A couple things we're going to do over here. We're going to take a look at a movie that was narrated by George Polaris. He's a gentleman. Quite truthfully, he does what I do. I've been trying to kill him off for 3 years, but I just can't get him out of the way. But he's going to give us a movie, and you're going to see really the heart of the Tarpon Springs, the culture, the history. You're going to see about Greek school. I went to Greek school every day after American school for an hour and a half to learn to read it, to learn to write it, and to talk. I was probably talking earlier, because my mother is, again, 100% Greece, from the old country, from the islands. But it does a lot for me, because in business, I realized how to be able to communicate not only on an American level, but on a European level. When you do business with Europeans, no fast talking. You have to sit there, you have to talk to them, you have to build a relationship with them. And that's what you find necessarily here in Tarpon Springs. It's a relaxed environment because we're southern. In addition, it's kind of a Mediterranean village. Anyone been to Greece? Okay, Greek islands? Okay, Dodekanes. You know what the Dodekanes are? And the major road we're going to go down to Spontaus is called Dodekanes Boulevard. The number Dodeka is 12 in Greek. The C means island. As I told you, 30 settlers came from Greece and developed this area because the best sponge divers at that time were from the Greek islands. So they transported, actually brought 500 people from the Greek islands to develop this area, start harvesting sponges. Were big up until about 1970. Well, in 1940 we had a blight, red tide type of blight. Decimated the beds. We had at one time 300 sponge boats working the Gulf. Now there's 3, but people still need sponges. Yes. Sponges are natural. No, they're natural. No, they're natural here. In the Gulf of Mexico, quite truthfully, we have the highest quality sponges called the Rock Island wool sponge. This is the best one. This is the one that you wash your car with, and if it's a baby, you take your time with it. You take a bath with this type of sponge. 5 major grade sponges. You're going to see this on the movie. But going back to the movie, what we're going to see is George Polaris giving you a little history of the culture of Tarpon Springs. You're going to see the kids in Greek school. In Tarpon Springs, as I said, St. Nicholas the church, we do our cross like this. Up, down, right, left. In contrast, I believe Catholics go left and right. See the ring on the right hand? When I get married, you get married in a Greek church, they put the ring on the right hand. It's up to you to move it to the left. My wife and I decided not to move it. That's what they do. It's a rough crowd. But another thing we're going to see here is you're going to see the Epiphany ceremony that we talked about down here. This is where the boys dive into the water after the cross. I actually dove. It's every year January 6th. If you ever get a chance to come back, the population of Tarpon Springs goes from 25,000 to about 75,000 people for that day, especially if it's on the weekend. It happens at 1 o'clock, and we get quite a few groups that come from the Greek churches from Fort Lauderdale, Miami, up and down the coast to come over. Oh, January 6th, as I said, when I dove the first year, it was 45 degrees and raining. And you go out there in a little t-shirt and a pair of shorts, you dive into the water. Actually, the water was warmer than the air. You have to wait around about 20 minutes for the dignitaries and the priests to do their prayers. Pretty well chilled up. I never had the dream of getting across. Pretty well everyone in Tarpon has a dream. You practice when you're growing up in Tarpon, diving to get across. How many times they've thrown rocks. I never was a good swimmer. So when they go that way to get across, I go that way to the ladder. Time to get out here, let me go, I'm good. I'm blessed as it is, don't need anything more.
Epiphany Day, of course, commemorates baptism of Christ. What happens here, there's a great procession down to the bayou, and the Archbishop that comes every year from New York will eventually throw a wooden cross into the water. These boys will dive for it to try to retrieve it. Now these boys range from the age of 16 to 19 years old. They have only 3 years in their entire life to be able to do this. I can remember when I was a lad, how that adrenaline really pumped up, man, when you come close to the water. Your blood was boiling and you were really full of excitement.
you young men who have carried yourselves so that they may reach the cross. Pray to God to give you the wisdom and strength to be His champions in this world. Champions of peace, champions of love, champions of morality, champions of spirituality, champions of kindness to all men throughout the world. With reverence and fear, the cross of God, so that it may be yours forever.
Why we're still there, I can tell truthfully. Go ahead.
How far out do they go?
Go 50, out the Gulf is 973 miles from here across the Gulf. You get to, I think, the Isle of Elizabeth or Brownsville, Texas, directly across the Gulf from us. So they go about 50 to 150 miles out, up and down the coast. Where we're located on the west coast of Florida, the temperature of the water gives us the premium sponge. They sponge down in Cuba, but the temperature, and in the Keys, the temperature of the water is warmer, the durability of the sponge isn't as strong. A couple things with regard to the Greeks. First off, when you have a good time in Greek, who's seen Big Fat Greek Wedding? Anyone see that movie? Okay. When you have a good time, and you're going to be asked this a couple times, and you're having a good time, you say opa. Can I hear an opa? Not opa. It's opa. All right. Another thing, down here in Tarpon Springs, you want to say good day to someone, you say galimera. Let's try it. Galimera. And that means good day. So if I say galimikta, what do you think that is? Very good. Yes, you have a question.
What does Opa mean?
Opa is like bam. Emerald Lagasse, bam. That's Greek opa. Bam. Opa. Something about Big Fat Greek Wedding. Northern Greeks, if you remember the movie, the guy used Windex on everything. Got a cut, got whatever it is, got to wash Windex. In Tarpon Springs, you use lemon juice. If you have a house in Tarpon Springs that has a lemon tree in it, it's worth $10,000 more to have that house with a lemon tree than it is with none. That's why a lot of these smaller little homes, they still hold their value because we use lemons on everything here. Passing time, I used to squeeze lemon on my finger just as a pastime. But fresh seafood, we get to fresher seafood. When we go down to docks, the unique thing is it's a working port. We're not make-believe. There's fishing boats, crab boats, and shrimp boats, and these guys go out there and work every day. A couple of sponge boats that are out there are gone right now. In fact, I got a special treat for us. If I can put this together, who's seen Dirty Jobs with Micro? Anyone know what that is?
Yeah.
Well, they did a segment here in Tarpon Springs about 6 months ago. Your guys are going to get to meet the guy that was with Micro while on the boat. He came out sponging with us, so we're going to see if we can put that in together. Patty, I want to get a minute with you if I may.
Hey, one question.
Go ahead.
My granddaughter wants to know how things doing girls time.
Being conservative tradition, the girl's role in Epiphany is the dove bearer.